Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Had a few this week, and I hope I can do some things that'll help you out in the outboard world. I've got another one of these 55 commercials that came in. It's one that I've had several times before. The fellows that own the thing were, they commercial fish, and they were telling me it bogs down. It's hard to start, and when it gets running, it just wouldn't run right. They try and put it in gear and just die. And so they had ripped into the coil wires, had them pulled apart and tore apart, and that's easy fix. I just twisted them back together and taped them up good and put little crimpers on them, so they're good to go. I had spark in both cylinders. Good, hot spark. But something didn't look right. Just from experience of doing this, when I would pull the engine over, there was a delay in one of the sparks. And it's hard to, and just unless you've done this a lot, but on a 2-cylinder, when you pull that over, it should be a spark, 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 spark. This one was going spark, 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 a little bit, spark, little pause, not pop, pop. It was pop, pop. I was like, something ain't right with that spark. So, but I had good compression, had good spark. I said, I'm gonna put it in the tank and give it a try and see if it'll start. I had put electric start on this engine for the fella 2-3 years ago, because if you've ever pulled over these 55 commercials, they ain't no joke, especially if you're an older person. So luckily this thing has electric start on it. So I put it in the tank, started up. It was hard starting. I finally got it to catch and got it going, and just as the owner said, hard starting. I couldn't get above a fast idle, and she'd just shake and die. And started up like that a couple times, tried to get it to go, just die. I'd come back off the throttle to the idle, and it would smooth out a little bit, but still not right, shaking. And I said, well, that's a timing issue. And so, only reason I'm making this video is when I find something that's a little unusual, I like to make a video of it, and this was unusual to me. So, let me show you what I found. Okay. Here's the victim in question. Okay. Now, I'll put it in gear and turn this around so you can see. Whoops. My light moved a little bit there, but I'll get it set back up. Well, hopefully you can see that right there. Get my light back over here on the subject matter at hand. All right. Not the best lighting, but anyway. You can see this is where the woodruff key goes. The keyway goes right there. Now, I just pulled the flywheel off here a couple minutes ago, and that's what I found. No woodruff key at all in there. Gone. So I thought, well, it's got to be laying down in there somewhere. So I took my little magnet and I dig all around in here. I said, well, it's got to be in there. And I have traced this magnet everywhere in here. No woodruff key comes out. So I thought, well, if it's not in here, down in these crevices and stuff, where the heck is it? And so I said, wait a minute, it's probably stuck up in the flywheel. So, come over to the flywheel. I don't know if you can see it there, but no woodruff key. And this engine was running. Not good, but running. But you can see a little notch right here, hopefully. I'm getting it on the film. Maybe not. But anyway, there's the little notch right there where the woodruff key goes. It's not in there. So long story short, I don't know where it went. I don't know where it went, where it is. I looked on the ground in case when I pulled the flywheel off, it fell out just from me walking from the engine over to here. No, there's nothing on the ground. Looked everywhere for it. But my guess, I don't know, the flywheel came off, you know, not super hard, but the way you would think a flywheel would come off a 55 commercial. I mean, you know, it was fairly tight. So I don't know if they had went in there and forgot to put the Woodruff key in while they were trying to troubleshoot those coils or whatever. Long story short, I'll put a Woodruff key in and get the timing back on it. There are other sync to the timing points on these 55 commercials. There's marks all along the throttle linkage and stuff that have to be lined up. And the way you do it is you do it 1 through 6 by the manual and no other way. It doesn't matter how many times I've done it or anybody's done it. On these engines, you have to follow steps 1 through 6 in that manual. It won't even make sense. It'll just say step 1, line up mark A with this notch, and it'll have a picture. Step 2, line up mark B, and on, 1 through 6. So after I put the Woodruff key in, if I have any issues still, I'll check all those sync and link points. But they just looking at it and putting it in the idle position, all the marks seem to be lining up. Then when I go to the half throttle, they line up, and the full throttle, they line up at the stop. So first thing I'll do is get a Woodruff key and put everything back together and see if that might help it. It might have just been the nut that was keeping things kind of in time. I don't know. We'll see. Let me get a Woodruff key, get it put in there, and get the flywheel and everything put back on, and I'll come back and see what we got. All right, I put a flywheel key in it, put everything back together, and it ran about the same. I was getting fire through the coils, and so because I was getting fire through the coils on both of them, even though it looked kind of intermittent, basically, because I was getting the fire through the coil, I suspected the CDI unit, which is under the flywheel on this model. So a trick I do is I go and get out of my parts bins, I get a regular CDI unit for a 2-cylinder engine, an externally mounted CDI unit. And because the coil wires are just snap-on, pop off, pop on, I take one screw and the ground wire on the CDI unit, mount it to the block, and then snap the 2 coil wires on the coil and see if things improve. I did that, and the engine runs like it's supposed to now. So it's not all boggy, and it's firing good, runs strong. So I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, let me carry you over there. All right. If you notice, there's not a bottom screw in the CDI unit. There's a top screw in the ground wire. Clamp, and then the coil wires just snap on. Just snap, snap. So they just pop on. So it's real easy to do. The bad CDI unit's still up under that flywheel. And it's going to sit there and do nothing. But it's up under there just like it's supposed to be. But here's the one that we're drawing our spark from. This one's running, it runs correctly. I do this on a lot of these. I just don't feel like pulling all this crap off to get the flywheel off, so I'll just do this. It only takes me a minute, and boom, you got fire back, and I'll put another screw down there. There is a boss for it. So let's start the old puppy up. there you go. They did a lot of other damage to it. I had to jury rig a primer on here. The one that was on there, they busted one of the nipples off of, so I had to fix that. They tore the start switch, which was mounted right here. They tore the wires on that, and the switch was all corroded, so I put an actual kill switch that is encased. They're supposedly semi-water resistant anyway. And then I used this kill switch and hooked it up as the kill switch. So kill switch, start switch, and runs like it's supposed to now. So like I said, rather than pull all that stuff off, if you have spare CDI units and stuff laying around, it's a lot easier to just do this. It's quicker, easier, engine runs fine. Thanks for watching.